Hey guys, so basically what I'm going to be talking about is UFOs. I've done a little bit of research and tried to find ones that I believe that the government might have covered up. So basically we will start with one of the first stories that I found that I had actually never heard of before that I found very interesting. The first thing I'll be talking about is the Battle of LA. February 24th, 1942. Only a few days after the attack on Pearl Harbor, an air raid alert blurted out all over Santa Monica and the areas close to it as an aircraft flew over the city and near the coast. The military took it as an attack and no one had recognized the aircraft before, and they decided to shoot it down. They shot over 1,400 rounds of anti-aircraft artillery at the aircraft, and it didn't even seem to faze it. The UFO moved from Santa Monica to Long Beach and eventually just disappeared from the view over the coast. The government later released a statement that it was just a water balloon, but that still doesn't explain why it was identified as an unknown aircraft and why it wasn't shot down when they had over 1,400 rounds of anti-craft artillery shot directly at it. Hundreds of witnesses saw the weird occurrence and never believed the statement and the explanation that was given to them. Next, we're going to move on to something that I also have never heard of, and it is the Chicago O'Hare International Airport UFO sighting. On November 7th, 2006, a ramp employee pushing back the United Airlines Flight 466 from the airport gate, which was getting ready to take off to North Carolina, first saw an object in the air above Flight 66, and then he informed the flight crew of what he was seeing. It was believed and reported that both the pilot and co-pilot both saw this object. Several witnesses that were not on the Flight 466 had also claimed to have seen an object and said it was a blatant disc-shaped object hovering over the airport. The object eventually shot through the air, leaving a clear blue hole through the clouds, which eventually later disappeared. The FAA, or Federal Aviation Administration, claimed the incident as a weather phenomenon and they would not seek further explanation. Several people who had witnessed the account were very unhappy with that incident not being investigated due to the fact that they had seen an object in the air and their radars had not picked it up and it could not be seen from the control tower. They believed it to be dangerous not to investigate something like this that happened in such a huge airline. Now, this next UFO sighting was something that I've never heard of as well, and this one is the Stephenville, Texas UFO sighting. On January 8, 2008, several residents of Stephenville, Texas, including a pilot, claimed to have witnessing a large silent object flying low and fast through the town. And some witnesses even claimed to have seen fighting jets chasing after it. The U.S. Air Force first denied having any aircraft in the area, but later changed their story, stating that it was just an F-16 Fighting Falcon along with other aircraft that were flying from NASJRB Fort Worth for training. And I've kind of told a little bit about stories that have gone around about UFO sightings and what people have seen all around the United States. And I don't know if this is true or not, but I was actually doing some research and I found that there is a NASA, basically it's a live recording of a satellite that is above Earth that kind of just records what the Earth looks like outside of our orbit or whatever, and you can just watch it, and it's like a 24-hour thing. And I don't know if this was a hoax or if it was fake or photoshopped, but supposedly there is a picture of a unidentified object in that footage. And what NASA does, I think the recording thing is ISS. What they do whenever people believe when there's a UFO that is sighted, it will go to a gray screen and because it's a few seconds ahead so that NASA can monitor basically what it is. So it's not live, it's a few seconds before. So they'll stop, pause the footage a few seconds, and then it'll go to a gray screen, and then they'll explain, oh, we had to change cameras, or there were technical difficulties, and blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden the gray screen disappears and you're back to watching whatever you're watching. And people believe that is a cause because NASA continues to see UFOs and they have to cover it up so that we don't know what is going on. Now, I don't know whether I believe in aliens or not. I don't necessarily believe that there's not something out there, just because this world is so big, and not only this world but outside of our world. The space is so big and it's so hard to understand and so complex, and it would almost be ignorant to believe that there wouldn't be something else out there, especially since they have found, not people or anything, but they have found bacteria and living bacteria on Mars and things like that, and they have found frozen water, and they believe there is a place like Earth. But yeah, those are the UFO things that I wanted to talk about that I've done research on. Now I'm going to tell something that is a little more personal, but it's not my experience. My cousin actually believes that she experienced a UFO encounter. My cousin was driving from my hometown to her home. Like, she had came to visit our family and then was headed back home. And it was probably about 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night. She said that when she had called me, it was pretty dark outside. She had called me screaming and crying and bawling her eyes out. She was probably about 20 minutes outside of Wichita, her hometown. And she had told me that there is something following her. And she was going on and on about how she thinks it's a UFO. She doesn't know what it is. She's scared. And she had told me that it was a very, very bright white light. Like a very big circle. And I started to try to explain to her, okay, maybe it's just a semi-truck that is following me a little too close. And she said, no, it's not a semi-truck, it's not a vehicle, because the light is above the car. And on headlights, they are not above a car, even if it is a big semi. I mean, it's above a small car, but like, she said it was like up in the air, like floating, like much larger than a semi-truck headlights would be. And so I was like, okay, it's not that. And I was like, well, maybe you're just seeing reflecting of something. What is it? Like, blah blah blah. Try to explain it to me. And she explained how this thing would come up above a hill, and it was very, very big and white and a big circle, and it would follow her, and she would speed up really, really fast, and she thinks she had lost it, and then immediately it would be right there behind her, and she could just see it in her rearview mirror. She was freaking the hell out, driving very fast to get home and get in town where there are people and civilization, and it freaked her out. And I had tried to research anything and everything online about the same kind of encounters, because I know a lot of people have UFO sightings or encounters, and then they talk about it online. And I could not find anything that described that same thing, so I don't know what it was. She doesn't know what it was. But she will not drive at night on the highway or interstate anymore, especially that way from our hometown to her town that she currently lives in. She will not do it at night. She will make sure she's home long before the sun goes down because of that encounter. So if you have heard of another sighting that is similar to that, then let me know, because I really want to know what that was and if there's any explanation, because I've tried to think of everything and anything to try to comfort her. And now I'm kind of creeped out to drive on a highway at night anyways, on top of like scared of like hitting a deer and stuff. Now I have to freaking be worried about being abducted by an alien. So I guess that is my video for today. I mean, I don't know. It could have been better, and I'm sorry that I'm like so all over the place. I just don't really know how to say things correctly. I don't know how to say it smoothly without having to completely script everything, and I really don't want to do that. I mean, I know I probably should, and I should probably, like, that was weird. I know I probably should try to film this several times, but I'm not going to, just because I feel like that's fake, so you get to see the real me and the real how I talk about stories. So that's it. There's some UFO sightings and some personal family stuff that people have seen, so that's it. So thank you so much for watching, and I will be making a 50 subscriber video soon, sometime, I don't know when. But if you have any stories or any weird UFO things or any conspiracy theories or anything that you want me to talk about, just let me know. I'm up for doing anything and researching anything and talking about anything. So thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.